Mike, the Euro Championships are going on. We have 16 teams left, right? So still a little bit of action to go. And despite the fun matches that we've gotten to see so far, I think that the best is yet to come here in this tournament. I mean, just this coming week, we have Belgium against Portugal, right? And then England against Germany. So I'm excited. For me to sit and watch soccer games like the Euros, I don't have the familiarity with the full rosters that I typically do, but there's just something about soccer that's so beautiful to watch that I pick up on the names quickly, and I feel now that I'm just even only a couple weeks into the tournament. I'm a real watcher of it. I wanted to get your take on the remaining teams on these upcoming matchups, and also hear from Kayla on her experience thus far watching the matches. I mean, I've found them to be very entertaining. Even if I wasn't expecting that going into it, I didn't think I'd have such a great time watching the Euros. No, I've had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about international soccer that just is so exciting. Like looking at the stadiums and the fans rallying behind their country, it's really special. And the Euros is just great because you see a lot of small European countries that really don't get the time of day in the World Cup be able to make runs. Like I think it'd be really hard for a team like Portugal to win the World Cup, but they won the Euros last time and they did it pretty convincingly. So I think that that's what makes this tournament so special. And this year there's a lot of stacked teams. I mean, just talking about some on the left side of the bracket, you've got Belgium, you've got France, you've got Italy, you've got Spain. I mean, these are powerhouses. And it's not like they're going to get away easy in these first rounds. I mean, for example, like you mentioned, Belgium gets Portugal, Spain gets Croatia, and those are going to be tough matchups. And it's going to be great to see. If I had to pick teams I really like, I think Belgium is going to be one that is going to be tough to beat. I mean, Lukaku and De Bruyne give you great goal scoring. I mean, De Bruyne's 2019-2020 UEFA Champions League midfielder of the season. In the qualifying games, he had 4 goals and 7 assists. I mean, he's one of the best there is. And when you have a guy like that heading your midfield, it's going to be really tough for another team to really get anything against you. And defensively, they've got 2 solid defenders in Vertonghen and Alderweireld. I mean, they're really good. And Thibaut Courtois in the net. I mean, all around, this is a team that's really built for this moment. And they've come and they've struggled in past international tournaments. But I think this could be the year where they really see themselves get to at least a semifinal or finals. And I mean, one other team I'll mention that I really like is, I mean, it's hard not to like France. And they're the clear favorites, in my opinion. I mean, they won the World Cup just 2 years ago.
I'm an Mbappe guy,
Mbappe,
so
I mean, that guy can fly. It's like
it's
he's a
tough
shot
for
out
me
of a
not to
cannon.
root for him.
And I mean, Benzema has a real resurgence as a goal scorer. He wasn't that in the past tournaments, but I mean, he's been great in this Euro. And they've got great midfield, Pogba, Conte, great goalie, and Hugo Lloris. So I mean, those are the 2 top teams if I had to say, and they're going to be really fun to watch as they get closer and closer and hopefully play each other.
Yeah, and I think that like the bracket is so interesting because it's totally kind of like lopsided. It feels like the people on the left, like Belgium, Portugal, Italy, France, like Spain, they're going to have some of the toughest time to get to the finals. Whereas like on the right, it's like England and Germany are going to knock each other out in the beginning. And then one of them is going to get knocked out. And then it's kind of anybody's game over there. I mean, you got Sweden, Ukraine, like anyone could kind of come out of that side of the bracket. And I think that is going to lead to some really interesting matchups like as we continue, because it feels like the teams over like England and Germany Germany, whoever wins, might have perhaps a better time of like getting into the finals because they're not going up against such powerhouses so early on. I mean, we're in the round of 16 and we're already going to knock out some of the like highest tier teams. So I think that definitely lends itself to some interesting conversation. And just in general, I mean, I love just the idea of everybody. Like, I like the idea more of countries playing each other than cities. I don't know why. Maybe that's totally random for everyone else. But I think that there's just something really powerful of like the whole country of Wales. Like no one ever talks about Wales. And now they're all together and they're all rooting for a team. And that to me is just super special. I don't know. I think it's like more fun than like, I don't know, Philadelphia and New York sometimes.
Right.
So.
Well, I was about to bring this up in regards to Belgium, because I watched Belgium play in their 2-0 rout of my half home Finland. Not the most impressive team, I will admit, at all. But defensively, they were able to provide just a little bit of a challenge for Belgium. And I think that it's games like that Belgium has come out of that make me kind of like them to win it all here, even if that isn't a popular pick, just because something, with COVID happening and the entire sports world being flipped on its head, it feels like this has been a year of new champions of, especially, as we're about to get into in regards to the NBA, a passing of the torch potentially. I kind of like Belgium's shot here to make a name for themselves in the division of the bracket that you were talking about, though, Kayla. I think the Netherlands might be my pick.
Yeah, Kris,
over Denmark.
I was literally just about to mention. Kayla mentioned the right side of the bracket, and the Netherlands might be the hottest team in the whole tournament. I mean, they had scored 8 goals and only let up 2 in their 3 games in Group C.
There's something about this different environment, just because of how the last couple of years went. Now everyone getting back together nationally to compete. It feels like some of these other squads really, really have a shot that might not normally have a shot. I think teams like Germany still look really good, but they're just like past their prime in a sense. I like some of the shots these other countries have in regards to this tournament. I'm excited to see how it ends, and I honestly do hope to see, and again, pun intended, out of left field, winner. I can't. I don't want to root for France anymore. I feel like they won, and I want to see an underdog come up and make a name for themselves heading into this, what seems to be the next era of the Euros, as some of these players get a little older that have been kind of owning this tournament for the last little bit.
Yeah, when you talk about the Netherlands, I think that this is a team that always plays well in international tournaments. I mean, they don't make it very far, but they do well in their groups and they win a game or two in the knockout stages. So I'm not really surprised that they're playing this well, especially in the group they were in, which was very weak to say the least. But they've got like Memphis Depay is one of the best goal scorers right now. I mean, Wijnaldum is great in the midfield, and he scored in their most recent game. And the only thing that's a little unfortunate is they're missing their best defender, Virgil van Dijk. He's out with a leg injury, but I still think they're a formidable defense to be able to win games, especially on the bracket they're in. They really only maybe have to win one tougher game against a Germany or England team. That's not to say the games might not get out of their hands early on in the knockout stage and they can lose one, but talk about the dominant powerhouse teams, Germany and England would be the two. And England hasn't looked amazing to me offensively, so I really think Germany takes that one. So a Netherlands-Germany game to go to the final, I totally see happening, and I think Netherlands
I love it.
Squeak out a win.
Me too, man. I like the energy that these teams are. Some of these like smaller fish teams seem to be fired up, and I don't want to diminish the Netherlands, but I feel like in comparison to like a France or Germany, you're not treating them with the same like baseline talent level. It's just, I'd love to like Belgium or Netherlands or even Denmark, one of these squads just come out and grab the win.